Alexander, so give us some history, if we could, as life before you became a mathematician. Where were you born, and tell me more.
Okay, I was born in Warsaw in Poland, and 15 months after I was born, Hitler invaded, so we ran. And we came to get to Israel in '41 through some very complicated route through Russia. And my earliest memories are from Israel. That's my place of origin.
How long did this take, from leaving Poland to ending up in Israel?
It took 2 years.
So where in Israel?
Tel Aviv. We lived in Tel Aviv. Actually, my first memory is the Italians bombing the sea.
All right.
The Italians used to come Italian bombers used to come from Rhodes and didn't want to risk themselves over anti-aircraft fire, so they used to drop the bombs into the sea and go back home. And everybody used to go and watch. So that's my first memory.
So what was your first language?
My first language was Polish, but I learned Hebrew very soon afterwards.
Was Polish spoken at home in Israel?
Yes. My mother never learned Hebrew, so my mother and I spoke Polish until I learned French, which is years later. And my father learned Hebrew quite quickly.
But she lived in Israel but did not learn Hebrew.
Right.
Was that easy to do?
Not learn Hebrew?
Yes.
Well, the neighborhood in which we lived was entirely Polish speaking. The grocery stores spoke Polish. Everybody spoke Polish. The problem came with school because the teachers didn't speak Polish, so my mother could not communicate with the school teachers. But it was very easy. It was lots of refugees in Israel at the time. Each one they tend to live in neighborhoods in which the language was familiar.
So then where did French show up?
When I was 12 years old, we moved to Switzerland, and that's where French showed up.
So this was before English?
Before English, yes.
Why Switzerland?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. I guess family reasons is the best explanation. I'm not quite sure what the answer is. But for me, it was a big blow. I didn't like Switzerland. I didn't acclimatize myself there well. And I kept asking throughout my adolescence, why are we in Switzerland? I didn't get a good answer.
Did you travel back to Israel when you were there, or is it now we're in Switzerland and we're staying? So Switzerland was what we would call junior high school and high school?
College.
Okay. So you chose to go then to college in Switzerland?
I had no choice because my parents got ill, and then since they were quite isolated, I was needed at home. So that's somebody had to take care of doctors and stuff, and so I couldn't go back. In fact, I was supposed to go to serve in the army, and they let me stay until I finished college because of the home situation.
Where were you in Switzerland?
Geneva. I went to high school in Geneva, and I went to college in Lausanne.
College was mathematics or what?
Let me tell you about mathematics.
Okay.
So if you had asked me when I was like 9 years old or 8 years old what I wanted to do, I would have said I wanted to be a mathematician. My parents had a friend who I think was some kind of distant relative who had a PhD in math. And he started coming and asking me math questions when I was, as far as I know, in kindergarten. Not very hard questions, not real math. One which I remember was, suppose you have a sidewalk 12 meters long and you plant a tree every meter. How many trees will you plant? Some things of that kind. And he was telling me I should be a mathematician, and since I enjoyed the attention and the questions, that's what I would have said. And so that's the idea. And then in Israel, when I was 10 years old, they put me in some kind of gifted program, and the idea was I'd skip grades, a grade a year for a while until I could go to college at an early age. And I skipped 2 of those grades. But then we moved and the idea was I'll be a mathematician, to go and study math. But when we got to Switzerland, this was lost, I think, fortunately, because I know lots of people who came to university early and they in retrospect, they regret the experience. But Switzerland, I was not a good student. I didn't do so great in high school. And the whole idea of my being gifted and doing math got lost a bit, except that I still wanted to do it. And I went to college in engineering because it seemed to be the closest thing to math at which I could make a living.
What kind of engineering?
I started in mechanical engineering.
So is this theoretical engineering, or is this sitting on the floor in laboratory experiments?
The way this is organized there is the first 3 years were theoretical, math, physics, very enjoyable. And the last two were sitting on the floor making experiments, which I enjoyed much less. But I shifted from mechanical to what was called physics engineering, which is applied physics, after the first, what would be the first degree. So I have by American standards, I've got a degree in mechanical engineering, an undergraduate bachelor's degree, and a master's degree in applied physics.
Do you keep in touch with any of those classmates? What did they go off to do?
I know what they do because there was a 50th reunion last year, and I know from the list they sent me what they do, but I didn't keep in touch with Lausanne very much. I wasn't happy there. I did make friends. I wasn't happy there, except the college was fine. In fact, they gave you a very good education.